Kenesary Kasymov was a Kazakh sultan, Khan of the Middle Juz, leader of the colonial liberation movement in Kazakhstan, grandson of Khan Ablai. He was born in 1802. Belonging to the top of the steppe nobility, Kenesary thought to restore the Khan's power, abolished by the Russian tsarist government, and transfer all power to the Kazakhs. In 1841, Kenesary Kasymov was proclaimed Khan at a gathering of the Kazakh clan nobility and sultans. He restored the court of biys, which adjudicated cases according to Shariah norms. In his taxation policy, Kenesary enshrined the norms of the Muslim law, tax levied on cattle breeders for the benefit of the Khan and the sultan, for cattle breeding areas, and ushur, tax levied on sedentary population for agricultural areas. Kenesary pursued the policy of his grandfather Ablai, who believed that only brutality could make the Khan's power strong. He maintained his power through strict discipline. The most impressive feature of Kenesary Kasymov's life and deeds is courage. Historically, one can discern in his actions courage with bright courage, determination, the ability to look directly into the eyes of fate. Kenesary stood at the origins of the struggle for the revival of the independent statehood in Kazakhstan. His merits in the struggle against imperial policies, for the freedom of the Kazakh people, for the assertion of their honor and dignity, are great. Especially significant are their spiritual lessons of his political heritage in modern processes of development of independent statehood. Their aspiration of Kenesary, which had no real embodiment in the conditions of the reality of that time, with all their limitations, were of a universal character. The revolt of the Kazakhs in 1837 and 1846 under the leadership of Kenesary Khan was a just act, a protest against the aggressive colonial expansion of the Russian Empire, the Kokand and Khiva Khanates. It had a national liberation character, with the purpose of recreating statehood and preserving the territorial integrity of the ancestral land of the Kazakhs. As a leader of the movement and a fervent patriot of his homeland, in the difficult hour of trials for his people, Kenesary Kasymov proved to be an outstanding statesman, an outstanding military leader, and gifted diplomat of his era, who devoted his life to the struggle for freedom and independence. He associated the edge of his diplomatic and political activity with the destruction of the military and administrative centers and outposts of tsarist Russia on the territory of Kazakhstan, which were intensively imposed at that moment and time, cut the living organism of the sovereignty of the Kazakh people. Kenesary's movement was the last desperate and essentially tragic attempt to unite the people and preserve the statehood, at least within the framework of common vassal dependence. As a result of the betrayal of his supporters, Kenesary fell into the hands of his enemies. In 1947, Kenesary Khan was brutally murdered in the southern end of the Jetisal range of Kazakhstan. His enemies cut off his head and sent it as a gift to the Tsar. Kenesary Khan remained forever in the history of Kazakhstan as one of the brightest fighters for the independence of the country.